first competition, no gi, I didn't really do until I was pretty much purple belt to brown belt. But as you all know, we always did a lot of self-defense. You know, we always grapple without the gi in school and stuff like that. But wasn't really a class designed for no gi grappling. So pretty much all the time we would spar no gi was geared into like smack fighting and punching and kicking and stuff like that. So by the time I was a brown belt, pretty much when I did my first Abu Dhabi trials, I had really no experience really learning no gi technique, something that was applied into no gi. You know, like I mentioned, everything that we did back in the day was self-defense oriented, was about clinching, taking down, controlling, more into that gear, okay? And of course, once the jiu-jitsu and the luta livre and all the grappling martial arts decided not to fight against each other anymore and actually compete with each other, that's where the no-gi culture in Brazilian jiu-jitsu started. You know, thanks to ADCC and all those big tournaments that brought into jiu-jitsu unification into the grappling world. Okay, so pretty much what my biggest problem that I had without the gi was because I wasn't able to control my opponents. Okay, because you know we have the kimono. I was a big bullfighter at the time, and since I had no pants to grab onto, I really have a big problem. And you know, I'm gonna show you guys the first techniques that I learned to pass a guy without the gi, and they were very effective. And I would like to mention too, a lot of people say, you know, the gi versus the no gi. What I felt in my game, that the no gi, the training and competing and actually learning no gi techniques because of the Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu style of fighting, the no gi allowed me to position myself much better, okay? Because in a lot of times, since you don't have the kimono to grab a hold of, most of the time you have to be a bit more precise the way you put your weight and distribute your weight in your opponent. So that's what I believe that the no gi competition gave to my gi competition. I remember the first time I started to develop a lot of skills without the gi, I would go to certain position and say, oh, I wish I had a kimono here. And then when I go back to the gi, I was able to get myself in those positions a little quicker because my positioning was more precise. Okay, so we're gonna start with pretty much the first technique that I've learned to put the weight on my opponent. Some people call it the monsoon pass. All right, it's a very cool pass, and I was able to apply right away in training and competition. Okay, so give me your hummus, please leave out. So what happens is, you know, when you fight no gi, a lot of guys are very scrappy, they small, and actually try to bullfight a lot of times, you know, when they have good movement, it's really hard to do something, okay? So we developed a skill that I had to control his movement, okay? His center of movement, which is his core, okay? So pretty much what I ended up doing was be able to control his feet, okay? Because usually the guy would be like, you know, loop the foot over and not getting good control. So I would get a control, and what I want to do, I want to stuff his hooks and commit my weight into this, okay? And that's what I want, because now he has to deal with my weight, okay? And then of course he'll try to kick me or something and use the hook. That's when I would get to this position, okay? So I want to get to this position where my knees touch my elbows, okay? I choose the side of my head that I want to be, and that's what I want to do, okay? So from here, what I want to do, I want to turn my hands back and control his hip by holding my own wrist, okay? That's what I want to do, okay? I control, now I have this strapped, okay? See, my elbows and my knees are together, my head is on my favorite side, okay? It doesn't matter what side you like better, okay? But here, there's a big detail before I go for my pass, because what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna throw my weight on my shoulder, around his stomach, and I'm gonna jump to the side and control right away, okay? Pay attention that my knee came right under his butt, okay? Because naturally, what he wants to do here is to move. So as soon as he starts his movement, I'm gonna trap, okay, move James, please. I'm gonna trap, and now I have the hip connect to the hip, and the hand goes to the neck, okay? So that's pretty much how we're gonna work this situation. Okay, so here, it's all movement, control the feet, sit on it, control. Okay, head to the outside, trap the hip. Okay, so just make a grip on your wrist. And what I want to do when I jump, I want to turn my elbow inwards. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to trap this. Okay, I'm going to lift up, 1, 2, and go right back into his hip. He moves, trap, and keep control. And the hand goes right away in front of the head. Okay? So, this is how the technique gonna work mechanic-wise. But there's one detail here that's very important. Okay? When I'm holding his hip, if you pay attention, my weight is on my knees, okay? And I'm just using the power, okay? I'm just using pretty much my hands. And a lot of times I would lose this position because I would push my face or things like that and move a hip, please, move a hip, boom, and get out, okay? So then you have to develop the tiger pose, okay? Which is right before I want to come up, I want to get my knee off the ground, okay? And I keep myself into this position. So now move, James. Oh, and I'm able to follow him. And then jump into the side, okay? So he moves his hip, trap, and block, okay? And that's what I want to do. The hip to hip, okay? And then I can, of course, can control him the way I want after that, okay? But the tiger position is very important. In any position we're going to do no-gi, to put the weight on him, okay? So one more time. Face that way. Control, trap, hold, knees off the ground, he moves, go, move, follow him, I follow him, I follow him, jump, control, trap, block, okay? So, very important to control him taking the knees off the ground, because the time, by the simple fact, because when I'm here, I can't really put much weight on him, on my shoulder, on his stomach. But once I go like this, now I can drive my way into him. But pay attention, it's a sliding lift. Okay, a lot of people come here and they tend to do it like this. But when I go like this, it's easy for him to regain guard. Boom. And then I'm gonna miss it. Okay? So pretty much what I'm gonna do, I want to keep walking really near the floor, but without touching it. Okay, so I got my grip, boom, keep moving, I keep my shoulder around his stomach, then I can jump to the side. Okay, trap the hip, open hand on his back, and the second hand go right into the neck. Okay, so very good pass. That was my first favorite pass that I've learned for no-gi.